Harihi Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Om शिष्य आत्मसमर्पण कार्पण्य दोषो उपहत स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढचेताः यश्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम् ॐ So we are in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, Shloka number 16. The Shloka goes like this. Nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drishtontaha, tvanayostattvadarshibhihi. So, this Shloka, basically, Bhagavan says that na asatah, that which does not exist, vidyate bhavah, can have no expression. There can be no coming into existence for that which does not exist. And he continues it to say, na abhavah, na bhavo, na abhavah. Right? There is no state of non-existence. Vidyate satah. Vidyate is no, satah, for which there is an existence. And he says that this is qualified by those who realize the truth, or those who are aware of the truth, the seers of the truth. Ubhayorapihi, ubhayoho, both, which is nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate satah, both of which, api, also, which is adding it together, drishtontah, drishtva antah, the conclusive reality being seen. Right? That is what is drishtontah, drishtva antah. Tu, indeed, anayoho, of these two, tattva-darshibihi, by the seers. Right? So they see both of them is the main aspect. What it means is that which has an existence will always continue to exist. And that which does not have an existence will not come to existence at all. What I say, I was born on such and such date. So before this, I am saying I was not there. Now I have come into an existence. So I had no existence and I am coming into an existence. This is not possible. And similarly, I exist now. That I will not exist in the future is also not possible. So this is a very deep-rooted philosophy which Bhagavan establishes here. Right? There are various scientific theories as well, which says something like, the matter can neither be created nor be destroyed. It is only a transformation that is possible. Similarly, energy can neither be destroyed nor created. It is only transformation that is possible. So, in Upanishads, it is said as they are merely a name and a form. Nama Rupabhyam Eva, Chandogya Upanishad. That is the way it will come in that Upanishad. So, there are several Vedic emphasis which has been given to establish this truth. Okay, we will do a very deep analysis of this. But before we go into it, there are few other shlokas which will be of this type. Right? Karmanyah yah karmani akarmani paschet. Right? So, and akarmani cha karmayah. Again, very contradictory in nature. There are few who do not include this in that challenging kind of a shloka. But what they say is these kind of shlokas, there will be a place in second chapter itself towards the end, when Sthita Prajna Lakshan is being spoken, Bhagavan will say that what is a day for normal people is a night for jnanis. And what that which is a night for the that which is the day for the jnanis is the night for the normal people, is the way that he will have one of the shlokas. Right? There will be another shloka in which he will say, everything exists in me, but I do not exist in them, and they do not exist in me. Directly conflicting. Right? So this will come in the ninth chapter. Right? So that is itself is called as very supreme secret and supreme knowledge. Right? Raja Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga is the way that it goes. Right? So there are several such shlokas, and there are traditions which say that the way that whole Mahabharata was written, it's a Puranic way of representation where the Vinayak, he uses his, what is that broken tusk to write it while Vedavyasa is dictating it. The condition is he should not give a break. If he gives a break, then Lord Ganesha will go away. And so, for taking a small pause in between, he will give some kind of a very difficult shloka like this, so that as the other condition that Vedavyasa puts on Lord Ganesha is that, okay, you can write it, but you should have a clear understanding of what you are writing before you write it. So they both agree and this starts. So for him to take a small breather in between, or to have a sip of water or whatever it is, the these kind of very difficult or conflicting shlokas are told, and when Lord Vinayaka takes a small moment to understand what is happening, he will, take his quick break and continue. Is the way there are some traditions that speak of. Our traditions do not buy to it. Number one, it means that the tapasvic nature of Vedavyasa is put down if he has to do that. But fair enough, another human form, that is really possible. But for one to say that Lord Ganesha requires contemplation before he can understand a specific sentence is again putting down the greatness of the God. And hence, we do not, in our tradition, we do not accept to that particular version, but the intent was to say that these shlokas are very difficult ones to understand. And this one is definitely a very difficult one to understand. Let us try to jump into it. When I say difficult to understand, I would rather put it as these kind of shlokas requires lot more contemplation. It can be analyzed much more. So we will be doing it in our class today. So while the shloka may seem to be very obvious, there is a deeper meaning that is derived. We know that the last two shlokas, Bhagavan went back to Anatma. Right? 11th shloka he started. This is not the way that Panditaha deal with. Those who are knowledgeable, this is not the way they will take life. is the way he starts in the 11th shloka. In the 12th and 13th shloka, he speaks directly about the Atma, the soul. What is the nature of the soul? Then in the last two shlokas, the 14th and the 15th shlokas, he went into defining the nature of the body, the Anatma. And in this shloka, he is coming back to the Atma Jnana. The core value that is established in this shloka is Atma Satyam, Anatma Mithya hai. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. This Mithya in itself is a very wrongly interpreted word by other philosophies. Right? They put Mithya to be an illusion, and they immediately attach an Asat, a non-existence to it. And there have been some of the commentaries that I have seen wherein people are asking, hey, we know there is a flower, and how can we say the flower doesn't exist? Mithya doesn't say it doesn't exist. Mithya says it does not have a state. That which does not have a state is Mithya. It will continue to change. We have seen that Prakriti and Purusha, both of them have the Anadi Swarupam, which means without any beginning or an end, they continue to exist. The only difference is Mithya is dependent on some other thing. Purnamadaha Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate, or Satyasya Satyam. All these are great Upanishadic words or Shanti Mantra words. Right? And what they are trying to say is, for a truth to be a truth, it must be independent and in its existence. Mithya does not have an independent existence, it has a dependent existence. And that is why we say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Now, let us look at the shloka. Na asataha vidyate bhavaha. Asataha, that which does not exist. Bhavaha is expression or coming into an existence. Na vidyate. Right? It is not known. It doesn't exist. Na abhavaha vidyate satah ubayoho api drushtontah tu anayoho tattva darshibihi. Right? So we saw that, saying that that which exists and that which does not exist need to be understood. That which does not exist can never have an existence. That which exists will always have an existence. The hidden aspect is the continuity, which is the core knowledge that is emphasized here. Means you are deathless. What you consider as death, as in a destruction, is not possible in either the Atma or in the Anatma Bhavam. Anatma Bhavam continues to change, and death is one of the changes, but it continues to change even after that. Atma is changeless and it continues to exist. That existence does not get broken. The Mithya Bhavam comes into the existence that is getting attached to the Anatma when it takes an ashrayam on that which is Nithyam, which is Atma. I'll repeat it. Atma is Nityam. It exists at all times. Existence is the nature of Atma. And when an Anatma takes a ashrayam, which is, it takes a refuge in this existence, which is permanent, the Atma, the Anatma gains a kind of perennial existence, which is purely a myth. It is not true. It does not have a perennial existence. It continues to change, decay, as we speak, this body, everything, this house, right? If this house can have a life of 100 years, it is 1 second older now by the time we were speaking, or few seconds older by the time we are speaking. So it continues to change. The change may be observable or not observable. That is different. Your observing capacity is the problem, not that the change doesn't exist. It is not like this house will be as is for 100 years, and on the 100th year it will just die. That is not the way it happens. It always continues to change. While it is changing, it is giving you an appearance of existence, and hence it is called as Mithya. Right? Because this concept is a little subtle, I had to repeat it. And I will repeat things which are that kind of a difficult concept to understand. But moving ahead, what is Asat? Right? Nasato vidyate bhavaha is the way we started. Right? What is Asat? In the tradition, we speak of two kinds of Asat. Right? Atyanta Asat is that which does not exist at all times, or Mithya, that which expresses as though it exists. Now, Maya, that which gives an appearance like a mirage, or seeing a rope on a snake, or a snake on a rope. This is the Maya amsam of it. There is another amsam which we call as Vyavaharika Sat. In this Vyavaharika Sat, there are two kinds that we speak about: Prak Abhavam and Pradvamsha Abhavam. Right? The Prak Abhavam or Pradvamsha Abhavam defines something that did not exist and has come into an existence, and that which existed and upon destruction loses its existence. There is a clay and there is no pot. You don't see any pot there. So Prak Abhavam is applicable in that instance. And Pradvamsa Abhavam is there is a pot now, but the pot is broken or it's crushed into some crusher, and it is made back into some kind of a soil. Right? Then that is a Pradvamsha Bhavam. That pot which you saw was there before, but not manifested, and continues to exist as sand, that which you called as pot. Right? But the name and the form is the only thing that has gotten destroyed. But the fact that this mud, the clay, the sand continues to exist is the thing that we need to realize with that. And that which has a prakabhavam and pradvamsa abhavam is mithya, is the way that we talk about. Now in mithya, we have state of existence, which is the kind of existence which gives an experience, but in reality, it has no existence. Nama rupabhyam eva. If we now broaden this, it applies to every kind of object that one experiences. It is a book now. Before the book, it was a paper. Later, if it is burnt, we have ash and so on. That which we defined as book did not give the experience of a book when it was a paper, and it will not give the experience of a book once it becomes an ash. Book can also be stated as having borrowed an existence to give us an experience of the book. It does not have an existence of its own, and hence it can be classified as mithya. Now, this is not just in the physical plane. It is also in the Sukshma Amsam. We also say it is in the Karana Amsam, right? But we will talk about this in the future to say how it is in the Karana Amsam, right? Because Karana Amsam, unless the destruction takes place, there is no moksham. Right. So the basic liberation requires that Karana Amsham to go away. So we will talk about those things also. What is the common perception? Generally, people see the world in dual state, that it exists, it does not exist. So for the non-seers of the truth, that which gives an experience is truth. And that which doesn't give an experience is not truth. It doesn't exist. This world gives me an experience, hence it is truth. And there are some who go up to the point to say that even God does not exist because the God does not give me an experience. And there are, basically Nastikavadis, they say the same thing. You say God, show me the God. Right? So for you, I can show you the God. But for you to know it is God, you must have seen the God before. If you have not seen the God before, whatever I show is not going to be a God to you. For you to identify something, that is why we call it as recognition. Right? That recognition requires an initial cognition. And when such Nastikavadis come and speak, the only thing is we can just say, yeah, what you say is correct. That's about it. Right. So there is nothing to argue because you cannot bring the existence to somebody who doesn't see it. We can use the logic, the tarkam, to go and try to rationalize and show the existence apart from the object that experiences the existence, and say that which is the existence is God. But for that, they must be able to see that existence before they can take God as that existence. It is a very beautiful and a subtle value there. So what should we derive from this shloka? That which I experience as something that exists need not be the truth. And that which we see as not exists does not mean it has no existence. Again, in Chandogya Upanishad, right, there will be a boy by name Shvetaketu, right? That Shvetakeshu will ask all these questions to his father. And Tattvamasi is the mantra that comes in there. Aitat Atmam Vidimum Tat Satyam Tat Sarvam Sa Atma is the way that mantra goes. Right. So now there one of the experiments will be, right, why is it that I do not have an experience? So he says, bring some salt, and he puts it in the water. And after some time, he says, you come back. When he comes back, he says, do you see the salt? Does the salt exist? He says, no. Now drink the water. And he drinks the water, and the father asks, do you think the God exists? Sorry, the salt exists. He says, yes. Right. So that aspect, which is not experienced, we cannot remove as it does not exist. And that which we see as existence, again, need not be considered as the total existence. It is a transient existence. Any object, a thought, a feeling, a item that you're seeing on the table, anything, every kind of an object is something that is transient in nature. That is the value that we derive from this shloka. Let us talk about the quality of Sat. For this, we say there are two rules that are applicable for something to be called as Sat. That truth. If it doesn't fit, then it is not. The first one is Trikale api yath asti tad satyam. That which exists in the three time, which is past, present, and the future, is Sat. Is Naresh exist? Did Naresh exist in the past? No. Is Naresh existing in the present? Yes. Will Naresh exist in the future? No. Right. So if you give that particular definition, this Naresh as a Jivan is not Sat. Okay. So this Naresh is not. Jivan is. We can talk about it separately. But that Naresh is not. The second one is Yath Swatantrataya Tishtati Tat Satyam. That which exists without a dependence is Satyam, is truth. In Vishnu Sahasranama, we did a deep study on this also, Sat and Asat. Right. In fact, there was one person from, very elderly, and I call him Ramanna, and he was kind of a blessing to have in the class for some time. Right. So he was even saying, hey, can you even transcribe it and give that particular class to me, etc. So we went into a very, very in-depth analysis of Sat and Asat. We will do that much of analysis on this topic during the course of Bhagavad Gita. We will try to keep it in simpler terms here. Now, let us apply it to the snake being seen on a rope. Rope has existence at all times in relation to the snake being seen on that. Before the snake was born, remember, here the true snake is not born. Before the experience of the snake on the rope was born in you. That is what it means, before the snake was born. You know that the rope existed. If there had been no rope, the existence of snake would not have come. In this example of seeing a snake on the rope, right? So it wouldn't have come. Now, after the realization, the snake is gone, but the rope is still there. That is what is the Trikale api yadu satyam. Right. So whether snake is seen or not, the rope has the existence. Whereas snake's existence is only till such time there is a rope. Assuming you are seeing a snake and just jumping out saying it's a snake. I go there, I pick the rope and I throw it away. Will the snake also not go with it? It will, right? If I have not told, you may even think that Naresh threw the snake, and that is what you will go and talk to everyone. The truth is, I just picked up and threw the rope. Right? So that is the concept. Which is the snake was dependent on the existence of the rope. So when you have a dependent existence, it falls under the category of Mithya. Let us apply it on the pot and clay. Trikale api, clay. Pot has an existence only when there is a rupam and a namam. Pot has a dependent existence on the clay. If the clay is removed, the pot is also gone. Clay has an independent existence. After the pot is destroyed as well, if allowed to cure, we will get the clay back. The clay continues to exist, but pot cannot have an existence without the clay. In technical terms, in the Vedantic words, the way that it is said is Karanam Satyam, that which is the cause is the truth. Karyam, the product is Mithya. Basically, Karyam is nothing but a name and a form. Nama Rupabhyam Eva. Right? This is established in a lengthy analysis into a specific discussion called as Karana Karya Tattva. Okay, so we are basically borrowing a little bit from that to understand it. Yeah, this is so easy. Why is it that so many words are being put for understanding? The reason is to be able to get into a level of maturity wherein we are able to look at the causal aspect and the product output. And this, we can apply it on every kind of object that you can experience, which includes you as a current living being. That which you can experience is an object. And if it is an object, the Karana Karya Tattvam can be applied. And when you apply this Karana Karya Tattvam, you will understand that this Karanam becomes the God. The Karanam becomes the Atma, the Paramatma. The Karyam is your experience. You will be able to look beyond the experience into the causal aspect. And for emphasizing this, we have taken so many words and repetition to inscribe it in our thought. Otherwise, it will be like, oh yeah, the physics theory, the energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. But that has never sunk into us. The idea, the reason is because it is dictated as a theory. Here we are not dictating as a theory, but we are trying to reason out and understand it so that this concept gets imbibed into us. Moving on, applying this vivekaha on the shloka. In this shloka, which appears to be so simple, there is an important and a wonderful message. If a product was not existing before but exists now, the shloka points out that it must be categorized as not existing. Also, if you do not have an experience of something, but can have an experience later through realization, the product was in a potential form and attribute the existence to it. Now, this eliminates the possibility of attributing the Sat to an object of experience, but to the base which continues to exist at all times in all experienceable forms. Right? So this is something that we need to really be very, very cautious or very, pay very deep, focused attention into it. Okay, so this pen, right? This is giving me an experience that there is a pen. I can use it or whatever it is. Now, when you apply it in terms of previous existence and future existence, this pen becomes a mithya. Assuming there is no pen and somebody is bringing this pen to me, right? Now, this is also indicative of the fact that it is not that the pen did not exist, it existed. It was in a different form, maybe in the form of plastic, maybe in the form of some chemicals, some form of metal, and all of that put together. right? And when it was processed, the pen was born. When the pen is born, what we need to understand is a transformation has occurred. And when a transformation is possible, it means this pen was in its potential form. So this is a little too tricky, right? I'm saying the simple mind will say, okay, this pen, it didn't have an existence before, it didn't have an existence in the future, so this is a mithya. This is the way a common sense will push you. But in the Vedantic, in the Advaita Darshana, the way that it is experienced or the way that it is expressed is both of them. And that is the importance of saying, Nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate satah. Both of them are to be understood. Which means just because this pen does not exist, it doesn't mean the pen doesn't exist. It is in its potential form. So, an object can also have an existence. It will be in its potential form. The only thing is, this object will continue to decay because it has a dependent existence. I hope this one is striking much more clearly to you here. Right? So, if you blindly say that this pen is an object, so it is mithya, which is what sometimes I feel the Dvaita Parampara or Visishta Advaita Parampara, or sometimes even in Advaita Parampara, I have seen people speaking of. They overlook the fact that the object is also a kind of a truth, but which is in a potential, realized, and destroyed forms. Right? That must be kept in mind. And this happens because of the dependence it has on something which is causal in nature. And that causal in nature is the search that we have embarked on in this class, in Upanishads, in Vedantic verses. Okay? I know I'm repeating it, but I'm also hopeful that you understand the reason for such repetition, because there is a very subtle nuance. Otherwise, you can ask, why is that Bhagavan is saying the same thing? Nasato vidyate bhavaha. Why say na bhavo vidyate satah? That question is being answered here. However, the state of an asat can also be not attributed to the experiences. That is what I was trying to explain. This introduces the intermediate state of experiencing the base through a name and a form. And Advaita names this as Mithya. Atma Anatma Vivekam. Atma is Drik Swarupam, that which is the seer, that which knows, right? That which is the one which sees. And Anatma is Drishya Swarupam, that which is seen, that which is known. So when you put it in English, it is object and subject. A subject is Atma. Anything that is experienced by the subject is Anatma. Right? So Atma becomes the Drik and Anatma becomes the Drishyam. Again, there is a big philosophy around Drik Drishya Vivekam. Right? We are just trying to quote it here. Trikale api yat asti tat satyam. Yat swatantrataya tishtati tat satyam. That truth is being defined in this place. Now, during lifetime, the I continues to be in the state of awareness and remains unchanging, which is the reason the eye is able to witness the Kaumaram, Yauvanam, and Jara. Right? So we are experiencing it, right? The childhood, the youthfulness, and the old age. We are experiencing it. So because the eye continues to be in the state of awareness without changing, it is able to witness the Kaumaram, Yavvanam, Jara, connecting it back to the previous shlokas. Shariratrayam. Logically, I is an expression of the Karana Sharir. So I exist in the Karana Sharir. Moksha destroys the Karana Sharir. So this will fail the Trikale api yat asti tat satyam. Okay? Now, there are philosophies, there are traditions which associate the Jivatma to the Karana Sharir. We don't. We say Shariratrayam, all the three are bodies. All the three are subject to destruction or the removal of experience. Right? Here, the argument that we give is moksha destroys the Karana Sharir. If that is the case, it fails the basic qualification, which is Trikale api yat asti. It doesn't exist Trikalam, hence even Karana Sharir is not. Then Swatantrataya, right? From that point of view, does it have an independent existence? Stula Sukshma Sharir is a Pratyaksha Anubhavam. Karana Sharir is not. Right? So, because Karana Sharir gives an experience of Stulam and Sukshmam, it is like the clay playing the role in a pot. Right? So, from that point of view, there is a Swatantrataya Tishtati. So, there is one aspect where if somebody comes to argue that this Karana Sharir exists and that is what is I, it is correct because 50% of the rule is satisfied. Where it fails, Trikale api yat asti. Avastatraya vivekam. In all the three avastas, Jagrat, Swapnam, and Sushupti, we have an existence. Right? Food eaten in Swapnam is not realized in Jagrat. Right? I eat very well and I get up in the morning very hungry. Right? Sushupti is also something that we are able to realize that I have had a wonderful sleep, which is despite all the abhiman in the body is gone. Right? When you are in deep sleep, if somebody is coming and calling you, hey, get up, you are not going to get up. I'm going to call you Prabha or Jyotiji. You are not going to really get up. You are not even going to hear it. Right? That is what is Sushupti. But when you wake up, you have the realization that you had a deep sleep. The Atma continues to experience. These are all mechanisms in which you will be able to see the Atma or feel it or objectify the Atma and understand it. That is why there will be a place where it will say, the moment you objectify, you have to remove that objectification from your mind. Right? So that aspect is possible because only then you can eventually realize the Atman as you. For now, you are seeing Atman as something. That Atman is you is what will take you into Aham Brahmasmi, into the moksha, into the liberation. Now, Nasato vidyate bhavaha. This is seen to be very clear. It gives the sense of continuity, which we otherwise fail to see. I see I was born, I will die. The first expression brings the clarity to me that I do not perish. It removes the delusion, the seed of fear. That is the first thing. nasato vidyate bhavaha. The nabhavo vidyate satah is equally important. Our raga dvesham is all based on giving something an existence, right? Based on my experiences. It gives me that this person has been mean to me, so I get angry. Right? This person has been very loving to me, so I get emotionally charged up. All these things are happening because I am putting a sat bhavam, an existence, to that which is transient in nature. Every kind of experience that you have is only a mithya. It will go away. The shokam or karpanya dosham that Arjuna experienced, or such experiences that you and I encounter, is only a mithya. However, we attribute a state of truth. We attribute sat to it. Defining the nature of sat, therefore, helps us to ground ourselves to the reality. So this second portion of it is seen as that which liberates you from the effect of samsara. We will go into the Acharya's Bhashyam. There is a Q&A, etc., right, with the Purva Paksha. But there was a Q&A that I experienced, and I thought I can share it with you. The question that was asked was, in the rope and snake analogy, you have given the swarup of Sat to the rope and that of Mithya to the snake. If we go with Trikale api yad asti, even the rope did not exist in all the three times. When I was experiencing the snake, the rope lost its existence. And when I got a realization, the rope gained back its existence. Do you understand the trick in the question? Very beautiful one. For somebody to even think to this depth is amazing. And there are very similar questions in Acharya's Q&A as well. But it was a very profound kind of a question. The answer is no. The existence of the rope is continued. Only the experience changed. And this experience was changed by an ignorance about the rope in your mind. And there is a rule which says that which you lost through ignorance can be only gained through knowledge. Right? So I thought I should definitely mention this to you to say that, hey, it's a very commoner kind of a question, but it was so subtle and so fantastic. So I thought I should just let you know, let you experience it. Right? So the question was, I see the rope. Now the rope has got trikale api, past, present, and the future. But in the present, I'm seeing a snake. So when I'm seeing the snake, the rope has lost its existence. So how can you say that a rope is trikale api etu satyam? How can we say that? That was the kind of a question. So remember, this is a difficult exercise. Brahma Satyam is something that we can all accept. The problem is Jagan Mithya. This is not easily understood. We experience this world every day. We understand that it keeps changing, yet we are unable to let go of attributing the Satyatvam to this world. Bhakti, value meditation, expansion meditation, these are all means to overcome the hurdle. But it is the realization of seeing the truth as eternal and as that which is unchanged is something that we will learn through various other discussions that we will see in Bhagavad Gita. As we progress, just remember that we will continue to experience the hardships in the world. Each association will bring the hardship. Solitude is not an option either. We must transact with the world to live in it. The ability to elevate yourself, as Bhagavan will later say, guna guneshu vartante, right? It is only the guns of the Prakriti are transacting with each other. When we come to that realization, it will slowly change our outlook to the world. Now, tu api ubhayoho anayoho antah drishtah tattva antah drishtah tattvadarshibhi is the way the second line goes. In most of the traditions that I have listened to, right, thanks to the YouTube, I have been able to hear a lot more as well. I have not come across this also taken as a value. Most of the traditions, they just brush through this aspect. But in our tradition, we try to give significance to each word and every verse in the Upadesh. We have seen what is the direct meaning. The conclusive truth of the two has been seen by those who have realized the truth. That is the simple meaning that this particular line gives. The first thing that we deep dive is Tattvadarshibihi. This must not be seen as those who are intellectuals, those who are philosophers, rishis with big beard and all, right? Drigdirsha Viveki. Don't put those kind of complex things in your mind. Later, Bhagavan will say in the 60th shloka that even those who are intellectually mature can fall for the objects or slip from their position. Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitah, very well seeing, right? Yatato hyapi, even though they put their best effort, indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manah. This mind is kind of captured and taken away. It is kidnapped, is the way that Bhagavan will say. So, it is not a person who is a tattvadarshibhihi. Everyone is a tattvadarshibhihi when one is able to see the truth. The way that we put it is like when we are talking this class, it feels like, oh yeah, it makes absolute sense. And the moment we go out of the class, everything is gone. The time when you are in the class and trying to see everything making so much of clarity is Tattvadarshibhi. You are the Tattvadarshibhi at that time. And me forgetting it as soon as I step out of the class, I am not a Tattvadarshibhi at that time. Tattvadarshibhi is when you see the truth. So, having come to understanding of seeing the following, I, the soul, the Atma, is unchanging, and that everything that I experience, that I call it as mine, his, it, all of them continue to change. The mind gains a maturity that seeing the truth is a beautiful experience. The seer as well as the seen in the expression of the true seer, the Chaitanya. Right? So that is again something which we will build upon as we learn. Right? You can yourself see when there is a truth. Man, if in case you are not telling the truth, I'm going to be upset. I'm very happy you told the truth. The truth has that beauty, has that sense of bringing happiness to all of us. And because the mind is an object as well, the manaha will also keep changing. Your perspective, your values, your priorities, everything will change. just similar to the world around you. The vision of truth becomes clearer when I, the Atman, matures with the Sarvatma Bhavam, which means I am not different from Prabha, from Jyotiji, or anyone, Hari Bhaiya or Ravi Bhaiya, any person you put it, right? It is not like there is one Atma there is one Atma here. This Atma is Ekam, and that Sarvatma Bhavam will mature into you. The transactional world becomes the Kshetra, and this Atman becomes the truth, which is all the base of every kind of existence. You evolve into functioning not based on belief, but with the vision of truth. Such a person is called Tattvadarshi. So, as you see, we take very important values from both the lines and try to make it in simpler terms for this class here. We will go further into it. We will talk about Dhiraha, Tattvadarshibhihi, Drishtantaha, etc. in our next class. Well, we will take a break here and we will open it up for Q&A. Prabhakar Bhaiya.
Namaskar, Naresh. I mean, today it was very intense and to be honest, a little overwhelming. Not a little, very overwhelming. It would take, a repeat of 2-3 times or even more to get this thing seep in. So it's very easy that I can see a rope, but the problem is at the moment we most of the time experience the snake.
Well said. Yep. That is what is samsara.
Being aware of at that moment of happening, I mean, it's very difficult. I should start learning it. Very intense.
Yes. This knowledge will help you go towards it, but there are several other wonderful such shlokas, and the journey is kind of handheld by Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita. As I said, in the second chapter, Bhagavan throws you into a total churn, turmoil, right? And he puts everything into you. He packs it and he makes it explode into you. But come the third chapter onwards, he will handhold you. And when you come to the 18th chapter, it will be more like a conclusion where we will see all the aspects being covered. Right? So it is a very, in fact, we say that in our tradition, we recognize that this was the best way to address people who have that lot of rajasic swabhav in their mind, that lot of churning that goes in their mind. So don't be overwhelmed by it. Take the shock and enjoy the roller coaster ride. But
just to add, I now see you are in the time zone. You are on the Jnani side. Your time is night, and my time is day.
Oh, no. Okay. So you are kind of telling that Jyoti is also a Jnani, right?
Yeah, very much. Ravi.
Yeah.
You are on the Jnani side of the globe.
The shloka goes like this. Yanisha sarva bhutanam tesham jagarti sanyami yesham jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato mune. Very beautiful shloka. You will enjoy it when we get to that towards the end of the second chapter.
Waiting. Look forward. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Jyoti ji, Jai Siya Ram.
Jai Sri Ram, Nash ji. And thank you, Prabhakarji. I think you definitely saw rope and the snake together today. Rope is Nashji and snake is here. Nashji, so we say that if there is some value that you want to achieve, you should chant it, meditate it. Is there a way to meditate Tattvadarshi?
No, no. Tattvadarshi is a seer of the truth. You become the seer of the truth. If you learn how to see the truth, you will never see the truth. Okay? You evolve into becoming a seer of the truth. The values are satyam, ahimsa, right? Akrodam, right? Acharyopasanam. All these things are the values that we will speak about it. Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantirarjavam, acharyopasanam, shaucham. Right, when we go to the 13th chapter, we will look into those values. And when we go further, we will see Devasirim Sampat, wherein there is a little more added to it. Right, so those are the values which you can do value meditation on and improve upon that. They lay the foundation for this gyan that is being spoken. Right, the Atma Gyan, it need not be told after laying the foundation. Actually, it can be told at any point in time. When the right moment strikes, this will reveal itself to you. Right, so do not try to become a Tattvadarshi. Remember that every time you see the truth, you are the Tattvadarshi. And every time you see that the truth is vanishing, you can understand that you were mistaken. Right? And you will course correct yourself. Don't try to meditate, don't try to force yourself, because by forcing, a flower can never blossom.
Thank you, Nashji. That's all was my question.
Okay. Well, we will take leave here. Harihi Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnad Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Well, good night, everyone. Take care, and we will connect again next week.
Yeah. And
Very
sorry,
good
I
night.
was late, Nashji, today.
No problem. No problem. Okay.
Good night.
Care.
Good night. Thank you.